On a cold December morning in 1917, the city of Halifax, Nova Scotia, awoke to what should have been a typical day. Fishermen headed to sea while children trudged to school. Families prepared for the holiday season, unaware that within hours, thousands would be dead or maimed because of a single horrifying explosion. It was the largest man-made explosion prior to the atomic bomb, a detonation so massive it obliterated an entire district, created a tsunami, and was heard over 170 miles away. This is the story of the Halifax explosion. December 6th, 1917. The First World War raged on, and Halifax, one of North America's largest and busiest ports, served as a key shipping point for Allied convoys. That morning, two ships entered the harbor. The Mont-Blanc, a French munition ship packed with explosives bound for the war front, and the Imo, a Norwegian vessel headed to collect relief supplies. The Mont-Blanc, heavily laden with 2,925 tons of explosive materials, TNT, picric acid, benzol, and gun cotton, was a floating powder keg. Despite carrying such a volatile cargo, it bore no warning flags. That was standard protocol at the time, meant to avoid drawing attention from enemy forces. As the two ships approached the narrowest point in the harbor, known as the Narrows, a breakdown in communication occurred. The Imo, traveling on the wrong side of the channel, failed to yield. Both ships exchanged last-minute horn signals, but it was already too late. They collided. The steel of the Imo scraped across the hull of the Mont-Blanc, creating sparks that ignited the benzol, an extremely flammable fuel additive stored in drums on the deck. Fire engulfed the Mont-Blanc instantly. Her crew, fully aware of what sat below deck, abandoned ship in panic. They shouted warnings as they rowed toward the shore, but in the chaos, most people had no idea of the danger. Crowds gathered to watch the burning ship drift slowly toward Pier 6, drawn by curiosity, unaware that within minutes they would be standing at the epicenter of a cataclysm. At 9:04 a.m., the Mont-Blanc exploded. The blast released an energy equivalent to nearly 3 kilotons of TNT. A fireball rose over 1.5 miles into the sky. Buildings were reduced to rubble. Homes shattered into splinters. Windows blew out as far as 50 miles away. An estimated 1,600 people died instantly. Another 9,000 were injured. Entire families were wiped out. The blast blew children out of classrooms, tore apart train cars, and flung bodies through walls. It wasn't over. A massive tsunami followed the explosion, sweeping people off the coast. Then a blizzard struck that night, burying the city and complicating rescue efforts. But even in the horror, there was humanity. Local survivors, Canadian soldiers, and volunteers rushed to help the wounded. The city of Boston sent doctors, nurses, and supplies by train, an act of compassion Halifax never forgot. Doctors performed surgeries by candlelight. Nurses wept as they worked through the night. Entire neighborhoods were repurposed into emergency shelters. The trauma was incalculable, but the resilience was undeniable. The Halifax explosion left a scar that would never fully fade. It changed maritime safety forever, prompting new shipping regulations, hazard signals, and the international recognition of civilian vulnerability in wartime. Each year on December 6th, Halifax pauses to remember. A moment of silence marks 9:04 a.m. Sirens wail, and wreaths are laid for the thousands who died or suffered. In a world full of forgotten tragedies, Halifax reminds us how quickly ordinary life can turn to devastation, and how compassion, even in rubble, can help rebuild. If you found this story interesting, then please like and subscribe.